I'm never going back to how I used to live, and nobody could tell me otherwise. We ended up making $0, probably negative money, because we crashed a drone and we were homeless, bro. We were living in motels to motels, and I've also had killer months in my business where I'm like,
welcome back to another episode of Raspberry Lemonade. Today we have my cousin. We're still figuring that part out, but Jonathan Arreola, welcome to the show.
yes, sir. Thank you for having me, bro.
How you doing today?
Good, man. Good. It's a hot day, but we made it here.
Yes,
You
very
know?
hot at the time of the recording. What is it? September 5th today?
September 5th. It's hot for September, bro.
California is like being very bipolar. But anyways, we're here to talk about you and your story. So let's get right into it.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
how'd you get into videography and all that? Tell us a little bit about your business too.
So it kind of found me, similar to how you were saying off camera. It found me. I was working in warehouses, right? Just trying to scrape by. And I started going to college. I had a really good friend, like, yo, bro, go to college. Like, don't get trapped in the workforce. And so I took his word for it. But the thing is, when I went to college, I didn't know what I wanted to do, bro, at all. I was like trying this, I was trying that. I knew I wanted to do something creative. That's what I did know. So I took graphic design courses. The prerequisite to that was art, drawing people, all this crazy stuff. Just to find out that when I cracked open Adobe Illustrator, I was trash, bro. Like, I'm not good at designing at all. But luckily, I met one dude from Uzbekistan in that class who, his name's Abdullah, who was already kind of into video and stuff like that. And I started hanging around him and he showed me it. And I always loved music, right?
Okay.
So music is what kind of bridged the gap. I had friends that were artists, and I wanted to be able to provide value to people. I don't just like being a guy that hangs out and looks cool. So I was able to utilize Abdullah to help me to learn, and we did stuff together, and we worked together. And we shot them a music video. And after we finished that music video, it took us 3 days, back to back to back. We rented all the gear out for a weekend. We ended up making $0, probably negative money, because we crashed a drone.
Oh no.
We crashed a drone bad, bro, and the dude was all pissed. But yeah, he was all mad. But what ended up happening was we made that first music video, and after that first music video was done, bro, I knew right then and there, like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, 100%. And so it's transitioned from music videos to working with entrepreneurs, businesses, crafting personal brands, commercials, like all sort of stuff that I would have never thought. And the thing is, I'm open to it all. If I would have been closed off, like, oh, I'm only doing music videos, that's it, it would have limited my growth and everything I've been learning.
Yeah, that's dope, bro. What's the name of your business again?
So MindFrame Media Productions, that's kind of what we go as. I have my LLC structured differently, so it won't say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we go as MindFrame Media. And funny thing is, most of my client acquisition doesn't come from my Google page or my professional setup. It comes from Instagram, believe it or not. And me just putting myself out there, meeting people, working with this guy, recommendations. So it's kind of strange.
Well, let's get into that. Like, what's your, kind of lead generation strategy, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, so I can't really speak on it in a sense where, like, this is it, this is what works, because I feel like I've still yet to crack that.
Okay.
I do really good business, bro, and everybody that I work with, like, they know I'm here for them, I'm doing a good job, and, like, I go above and beyond, bro. I'm a big fan of, I'm a big believer, rather, in under-promising, over-delivering.
Oh, 100%.
And I go hard with that, bro. I go very hard, and I leave a very personal touch. So the reason I've succeeded so far is because of the way I approach people, business, and how hands-on and personal I am. So when it comes down to client acquisition, like, I could say my fulfillment is my client acquisition, because it's like referral, referral, referral. But I also know, like, I'm not naive to systems and
Right.
this is what you have to do, landing page, call, stuff like that.
Right
Yeah.
on. currently, do you have like something like that set up in place, or how do you go about that right now?
So I have pretty much ads. I have certain ads that hit for me every single time,
Mm.
and you know, it's to a market that I don't want to crack. We talked about it off camera, but I cracked the market that I don't really want to live in,
Yeah.
but I could print money from those ads, and it's just really breaking it down. Like, what did it for me was creating an offer in the ad.
Mm.
I left some intrigue in the ad, and I targeted that specific niche, like hardcore, bro, to the point where like a lot of people that I work with, I'm gonna say people, they're like, "Oh yeah, I seen your ad," or I always ask now, "How'd you hear about me?" And before it used to be like, "Oh, so and so recommended me," and be like, "Oh, I seen your ad," and it'll be even indirectly because I think once I run the ad right now, I'm gonna get all the clients from it. No, I just had a shoot that I shot where I said, "How'd you hear about me?" "Oh, I seen your ad," or no, my buddy seen your ad 3 months ago and he sent it to me, and then now I reached out. So
There
yeah.
you go. So ads work, people.
They do work. They do work. But also too, on the flip side of that, bro, dude, I've ran a lot of ads that didn't hit one bit, and I was like, bro, I'm losing money. I'm spending like this. It just doesn't work. But it comes down to the way it's presented, how you say it, how the people feel, if it looks good, if they know it's of value. And then I'm gonna tell you how good that ad was, bro. It was so good that then I had a sales problem. I had a sales problem to the point where I was tired of calling people. I was tired of calling people. Yeah.
That's a great problem to
Uh-huh.
have.
Well, and also too, like just to be super transparent, it was just like the market. It's like I was tired of persuading people. Rather, I
Gotcha.
just want more free flow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Dope, bro. Speaking of your ads, one of the first ads that I saw was you were doing like I think it was like Taken. It was
Oh yeah.
like a not a parody, like
Uh-huh.
a inspiration from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love that, bro.
Thank
Like
you, bro.
as soon as you started, you know, like I was like, I know exactly what you're doing. Yes, I love
Yeah.
it. That was a cool
That was
cool
fun.
concept, you
It was
know?
fun. It was fun, and I had that idea for a minute in the back of my head. And that's the thing too. Like, you have a million ideas, but as soon as you execute, bro, that's what, like, you're talking about it now. We're having a live conversation about it. But, dude, if that would have remained in my head, like, nothing would have came from it.
That's true.
So it was like the thought of it just lingering, and then boom, acting.
100%. And funny enough, that's how we connected
Mm-hmm.
because of one of your ads. And let's
Isn't
get
that
into
crazy?
that of, you know, we have the same last name.
Yeah.
We've been trying to backtrack, see like where the connection
Uh-huh.
is on the family tree.
Yeah.
Still have not been successful.
Yeah.
But chances are we're related, bro. Like the
Dude, it's
fact that
crazy.
we're from like our families are from the same region of Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
it's just too much coincidence. But anyway, yeah, that's also how I found you because of one of your ads.
Yeah, the ad, and that's the thing too. Like, by no means am I an ad expert. I'm gonna say that right now. But it's two things what you just said there. It's like, okay, you've seen the ad, and then there was a relatability factor because we have the same last name. But like, there's so many relatability factors outside of just demographics. Like, I'll see an ad from a Mexican dude around, and I'll be like, oh, that's super dope. Let me check him out because he's Mexican. But
Yeah.
it's also like relatability into the sense of like your mind, and if people can connect with that. That's what a lot of it is connection to who you are, and if people relate to that same pattern of thought. The problem with a lot of ads that I see, bro, um, and I could be wrong because those ads could be working, but at least from a branding standpoint, I think with advertisement, a lot of times it dwindles the brand because they're like, oh, if you hit me up within the next three or the first three
Uh,
people, and I get it, bro, like it probably does work, but at the same time, it's like, I look at it as like brand identity, and you got to keep that like true, but also advertisement. And I feel like if this one doesn't match this one, you're in a situation where it's like, okay, yeah, he has an offer, he has this, he has that, but it's not truly him. And
yeah,
then you dwindle brand identity. Just my thoughts.
that's a good perspective. I'm gonna go get rid of one of my first ads now.
Do it though. I'll do it. If it works, it works, bro.
That's true.
You
That's
know?
true. It got the job done at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, and I think that's why I really liked your. I still get ads. Now I'm seeing them all the time. But even through your page, when you're trying to talk to a potential client through your content, I sense that there was thought behind it. There was that relatability aspect. Like again, going back to the Taken video, people understand that reference, or if they don't, maybe they're not the type of people you want to work with anyway, right?
Yeah, you never watched Taken? Get out of here.
Yeah, like go watch it and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I appreciate that, and that's something that I would really like to or plan to do with our, next ad campaign is bring a little bit of ourselves into that video.
hmm
So,
And thank you, by the way, bro. That means a lot. Especially like you're in the industry, you get to see it. So like coming from someone that's in it, bro, like it means a lot, bro. Like
yeah.
really. And what I would say about that when it comes down to you implementing it, at least for me, bro, the approach I took is just kind of fearlessness to a certain degree, because a lot of times, especially when we're sharing like very personal, our personality, bro, personality, it's personal.
Yeah.
It's in the name. It's hard, bro. It's very hard because we are us, and it's a sacred thing. So to share that with the world is scary, bro. It's very scary. You get fear of judgment. What if they say this? What if he says that? But at the end of the day, I approach it with fearlessness and understanding that I'm a human. I look at videos that I posted on my story from 4 years ago. I'm like, dude, you're an idiot, bro. My bad, I cussed. You're an idiot, bro. But also, people don't view me as that in that time because I'm still growing. And as long as you know that you're still growing, you can never take the wrong move, bro. Like,
That's true.
it's just a growing process. So I would implement fearlessness, believe it or not. Like,
That's true. Yeah, no, good point. Have you always been this fearless?
dude, I think I was forced to be a little bit fearless
Tell me about
because
that.
of life. There were just situations growing up, bro. I had kind of like a harder upbringing. When I was in high school, there was a point where like we lost our house. My dad had some situations occur, and we were homeless, bro. We were living in
Oh, wow.
motels to motels, and there was a lot of situations that I was kind of forced in that I didn't want to be in. And when you're there and you have to be there, I don't think it takes courage, because it's just like this is what it is. But it calloused me to the point where there are things that I'm like, I don't care if it happens. Let's run it. And it molded a mindset for me, which is good, bro. A lot of people look at like negative situations like that in the moment. I did too. In the moment, I was just like, oh, dude, like this is bad. This is the worst thing. But I look, even now, bro, I look at situations that occur that are bad, and I'm like, this is here because this is part of my hero's journey, and this is gonna make me a savage, bro. Like people aren't ready, and that's kind of where that fearlessness came from. And I'll be direct with you, bro. There are still things that get me very fearful. Things that I gotta let go, especially when it comes down to like approaching people, cold approaches, public speeches. I'm terrified of. I gave one like 2 or 3 months ago that I thought was trash, bro. It was bad.
Was it your first one?
I've taken a public speaking class,
Okay.
so technically not my first one, but the first one in a minute, bro. And I did bad, bro. I bombed, and I was
Dang.
embarrassed. But I was like, okay, cool. I needed to feel this,
Yeah.
you know.
It's like
And
now I know I need to get better at this.
yeah, bro, 100%. But yeah, dude, fearlessness just comes from, I think, not giving a f.
Yeah.
Really, letting go of it. Whatever happens will happen, and it's meant to happen.
Putting the ego aside at the end of the
Dude,
day.
that's big. That's
Yeah.
big.
100%. We were talking a bit about, that off camera too, and it just, when you really sit down and think about it, it's crazy how many aspects of life can be controlled by
Mhm.
ego.
Mhm.
And keeping that in check is like something you got to do constantly.
There's my friend gave me this token a while back. It was by Ryan Holiday. I guess he has a book called Ego is the Enemy. And he
Yeah.
gave it to me, and I was like, I thought it was a very sincere gift. But at the time when I got it, I was like, F this. Like, ego's here for me. Like, I ain't tripping on nobody. And, I think there's, like yin and yang, there's a balance to everything. I think having too little ego, you'll be able to like pretty much you won't be able to get into rooms where you should be in because you play the too humble approach.
Mm.
And then having too much of an ego is also going to get you out of rooms that you
It's
should
a
be in.
turnoff.
Because
Yeah.
like, dude, this guy's too much. He's doing
Yeah.
too much. And what I've realized is ego is a protector because our identity, our view of ourselves, we can never let ourselves be wrong or embarrassed or this or that because the ego's job is to protect us from feeling those emotions. So anytime you feel like I felt embarrassed that day, my ego was like, oh nah, like they just weren't ready for you. But no, like actually I did a little too much. Like it was just off. And the job is to protect you. So understanding that, you have to understand where you're in situations and someone's genuinely trying to critique you and help you out, and then realize that are they trying to tear you down or are they giving you genuine advice, and then
Mm.
separate yourself from that. And it could be both. But yeah.
Dang. Okay. Jeez, let's sit in that for a second there, because I had never thought of ego as a protector. That's crazy. That's
As a
the
what?
first as a protector.
Mhm.
Like, I think that's the first time I ever. I think it's probably the first time I ever hear it put that way.
Mhm.
But it makes complete sense. Uh, yeah. Let's move on.
Yeah, it's tough, bro. It is
Yeah.
tough with the ego.
But besides that, you kind of already touched a little bit on your upbringing. The next part of the show, we usually go a little deeper in
Mhm.
the upbringing, childhood, kind of your background. What can you tell us about little Jonathan?
Dude, bro.
What was he like, and what part of him is still with us today?
Yeah, that's a deep one, bro. That's a deep one, but my mom tells me, she always tells me that I was very mature at a very young age, and she would always say like, "Oh, you have an old soul,"
Mm.
but I feel like it's because of the situations I was in. I had to grow up very fast, and there would be occasions where like even as a young dude, I'd see like friends having like fun and stuff, and I couldn't really have fun. Like my life was very serious, and I can't remember myself being like super jolly or anything like that. I attribute it to more so the circumstances that we were in. Um, I lived a pretty tough life. My dad was a very masculine figure, but with him, the lifestyle he lived was, it's kind of toxic, bro. It's kind of toxic. The people he would bring around, the energy that would be around. So, I had to toughen up quick. And actually, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I was telling one of my buddies about this the other day. I'm kind of closed off emotionally, right? And I'm gonna go off on a little tangent, but
That's fine.
um, dude, all right. So I used to write a lot of music when I was little, like
Okay.
poetry, raps, rock songs, and I have this one memory, bro, very very core memory, and I recently unlocked it. I thought about it. I was like, oh damn, that's tough. I had journals of writings. One time, this was when I was a little older in life, like middle school, eighth grade, maybe ninth grade. My dad was hanging out with his friends. They were smoking weed, chilling. I came home one day to them reading all my like everything, bro,
No.
everything. And they were like saying stuff, like saying some of the lines, and I just felt so embarrassed, bro. So embarrassed. And like after that, I was like, all right, I'm never writing again. So stuff like that, bro. Like that's a funny story,
Ah,
but
man.
I overall I had a pretty like I would say tough childhood in the sense that I had to deal with a lot of stuff, but my mom was always just a good soul, very friendly person. I attribute a lot of the character and integrity that I walk around with from my mom because I feel like she did a damn good job of raising me, right? And yeah, what was your question, bro?
Well, I mean, it was just that,
Yeah.
just wanted to see if one of the reasons why I like this question
Mhm.
and I like to ask it is because I like to think that we're all just children in grown-up bodies.
Mhm.
If we get to the core of why we like to do what we like to do or what actually excites us,
Mhm.
you know, things like that, I think it could be traced back to when you were a kid,
Damn. Okay.
you know?
Okay.
And so at least this is the connections that I'm making for myself in recent times, is the reason why I'm enjoying this process of helping other people tell their stories,
Hmm.
through content, is because I loved stories growing up. Like I loved sitting at the adult table and listening to what they had to say, what they were talking about, like understanding, like, oh yeah, such and such happened the other day. Like, oh yeah, like
Yeah,
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 and whatever. And my curiosity, I think it's still the same curiosity that I had when I was a kid,
okay,
you know? And I'd like to think that most people ideally try to tap into it in one way, one way,
yeah,
shape, or form.
hmm,
And the people who are winning at life are those who allow themselves to tap into that inner child.
yeah. You saying that, like now I have a real answer for you, bro. And I remember feeling a lot of like fear and insecurity growing up. Um, Fear because, like, not to get too deep into it, like the circumstances that would happen at home, like
Yeah.
they would be very fearful situations that no child should kind of be in. And I remember feeling a lot of fear, bro, like to the point where like I would have dreams or like just weird stuff. And insecurity because I remember at the time I wasn't confident in who I was. You
Mm.
know, wasn't a chubby kid, but I was a little chubbier. Like I was husky. My mom called
Big
it.
boned.
I was big boned, but I wasn't that big.
Yeah.
And I'd have long hair. I was like a little rocker kid, and I would always go to school smelling like smoke and like
Mm.
I just felt like a lot of people had judged me early on, and a lot of people judged me in the wrong way. And I was always a good student though, but I felt like people wrote me off a lot
I see.
growing up. Like, if we play football, I'd be picked last, or teachers wouldn't think I was like teachers would think I'm stupid based on the way I look, and then I'm in class and I'm killing it academically, like stuff like that, bro.
Mm.
So I think growing up, I kind of held on to that, and I use that as a source of motivation, like proving people wrong, which I know is not the best because I feel like I've transcended a little bit to the point where I don't have to prove everyone wrong. But also, I think a lot of my identity comes from you think I'm going to be this. I don't accept that belief. I don't
Mm.
accept that belief. I believe I could do more. And just kind of showing it. So when you broke it down like that, bro, like those are some of the core emotions that I remember.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And to your, uh, I guess we would call benefit, you used it as
Hmm.
fuel, and you've channeled it in a good way,
Hmm. Hmm.
which I think is also why we see the opposite sometimes, where someone could have gone through something very similar as yourself, but they're in jail.
Hmm.
They are drug addicts, they're alcoholics, they're like all these self-destroying, uh, we'll call them activities, you
Hmm.
know? So that's something I'm still trying to crack, and I don't know, maybe you can help me as we're talking about it. Where why is it that one person takes their bad situation and ends up using it for good, and somebody else either takes it and uses it for evil, or in the very least allow it to consume them and they themselves suffer even more?
Hmm.
Why do you think that is?
I think in either case, they're both spirals. Because you could spiral negatively or you could spiral upwardly. And both of them take a lot to break, I feel. Well, maybe if you're on the up, it's hard. It's easier to break. Um, I think I attribute that to perspective, bro. Because you can view any situation how you want to view it. And for me, I had a really good coach in high school, and at high school was a pivotal point for me because I could have went left, I could have went right. I had a coach say this, and I'll never forget this. His name's Coach Willig. He's a big G.
Shout out.
Shout out Coach Willig. He would always say, "Don't be a victim. Don't be a victim." And I'm like, why is he always saying this? Like, I'm not a victim.
Crazy old man.
Crazy old man. But it had so much truth to it because
Yeah.
I'll tell you about my high school, bro. My high school life. I was trying to play football. I was trying to do good academically and then still survive to be able to have a motel for the night while being hungry as and all that every single day. But I never viewed myself as a victim ever. I never felt sorry for myself. I did actually. There was moments. But I never chose to view life in that frame. I always felt like I was a warrior and I'm destined to fight. And I've never seen a win in that time. Like I would never have a really good day where all my problems are figured out. It'd be problem, 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 problem. So I just believe that if I fight, there's nothing that's gonna defeat me. And so I chose that frame of reference, but it's all a choice. I had other kids that I went to high school with that, you know, maybe their parents gave them everything and they still wound up
Yeah.
in a downward spiral. But it comes down to the way you choose to view a perspective. And I'll be very honest with you, bro. I'm not always very positive. I have very negative moments and very negative days. But it's still a fight and a battle. And we talked about this off camera, but you said you beat yourself up a lot. I do too. I think that's, I guess you could call it the ramifications of that path.
Right.
You know, like it's still there to a degree, but on a different level.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I'm glad that we're kind of dissecting this a little bit. We tend to talk about the people's businesses and all that, how they got into that. I love hearing those stories, but I think these conversations are something that we also need to talk about because there might be someone out there listening or watching, who maybe is going through some tough times, and maybe they went through tough times in their childhood too, and up until this point, where their life's at is not where they would hope
Yeah.
or envision, or they're just very unhappy, just to put it simple.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is just a real testament of you decide.
Yes.
You can make that decision. It's as hard and as simple as that. You decide if right now in this moment I'm no longer going to feel sorry for myself or my situation rather.
It's all a choice, bro, and it's as easy as that. And one of the things you said, I almost feel like mindset is a prerequisite to business.
Oh, 100%.
I really do, bro, because you can have all the fundamentals on point. You could have all the money flow coming in, all this, all that. But if you are not set up in your mind to be able to handle that and be able to view it correctly, you're going to lose ultimately. I'll be very transparent, bro. I had a month recently where I had a good month. It's pretty good. And because I was such in a self-defeating loop, aka the mindset was wrong, the business of it didn't matter. And although it was pretty good, it then declined because my mindset wasn't equipped to be able to run the business to another level. So it's the prerequisite to it, I feel. You could have a winning situation and view it negatively. You could have a losing situation and view
That's
it
true.
positively.
That's very true. Yeah. Thank you, sir. That was a really good tangent
Oh,
there.
Yeah.
Okay, man. Yeah. Well, what do you say we move on now to the sour story of the show? Up until now, whether personal or professionally, what's been one of those really tough moments that comes to mind? I was like, man, like this really just tested me.
It was early on. Now I don't think I view losses the same. I'm just like, it's part of the game. Early on, bro. And when you say test, like, do you mean like a business story or?
It could be either or both if you want to share both.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple levels of the business that, you know, sometimes frustrate me and get me angry. I do have a story though, and this comes down to contracts. There's still days, even today, maybe I haven't learned from my mistakes where I don't do contracts.
Oh. Note to self.
Yeah, yeah. But okay, so early on, I got booked for a music video, and the way it was framed, I was going to shoot a music video for these guys. They were going to get the studio. Boom, whatever. It did not matter. We moved on and we shot. I got everything edited and turned in. On the last day, they hit me back like, hey, do you think you could slap this logo before the video starts? And I'm like, oh, sure, send it. And it said a production company. And I was like, wait a minute.
Hold up.
Mm-hmm.
Back it up.
I said, so you're trying to throw this under your production company as if you shot this, right? Well, yeah, we paid for the studio. We pretty much produced the video. And I was like, yeah, but that was never a discussion to begin with. Because if it was, my rates would have been completely different. And we went back and forth. They posted the video. Um, they cropped the video. They slapped their logo on it and then they posted it. They didn't know how to do it though. They posted it in like 480 quality. They reduced it. It was bad. And thing is, I'm a little petty. And what I ended up doing, I unlist videos on YouTube. So like before I send people stuff, I have it on YouTube just in case they don't send payment. What I ended up doing was I had proof that it was my video because it was on my unlisted page in 4K a week before they posted
Dude,
it.
that's smart. Hey, yo, that's game right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
start doing that.
Yeah, and it just depends. That's for YouTube. Other platforms are a little bit different, but for
Yeah.
YouTube, if you want to ensure that you retain
Ownership.
make sure you post the full video unlisted on your page just to have as a storage. So I did that, and what ended up happening was they thought they won, like, yeah, we're going to use this. I went ahead and I submitted a claim, and I had proof, and the claim went through. And I think it was on Christmas Day. It was on Christmas Day that their video got taken down. Which it made me a little happy because I'm sure they're like, oh, they're showing their family, oh, look what we did. Nope, it's gone. It's gone. Petty. But that was like a little situation, I guess. There are other situations, like even today, that just kind of stress me out when it comes down to like acquisition of certain clientele or, I think I'm pretty good with fulfillment. Yeah, just more so the inbound process and things of
Okay.
that sort. Yeah, that's I guess my day-to-day struggles.
I'm with you on that boat, man. Yeah, we're still learning, and that's okay.
Mhm.
We don't know yet, but we're putting in the work, trying to learn from people who have done it already, and I think we're gonna be okay, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the
So
process.
moving on now to the sweet story. So the opposite side of the coin, right? What's been one of the best moments so far in uh, in your journey, again, whether personal or business,
Mhm.
that you've been like this is nice.
Yeah, I'll tell you, bro. This comes down to providing value and not being afraid to provide value. And I'm gonna tell you how it transpired. So
Okay.
I went one day on set. I DM'd the director like, "Hey, I'll pull it for free. I'll work for free." On that set, I ended up meeting a really good friend of mine named Brandon Esparza. He's just a G in this film game. He's a good cat, very good integrity, just highly respectable, bro. Like I have a lot of respect for him. And I met him on that free set that I went to go do. And we ended up clicking. He started getting me on gigs, booking me here and there, and just kind of helping me out. I was barely getting in the game. I told you before we got on camera that like there was a time and period where I would read a lot of books and I would like open the possibilities of my mind. Well, my buddy Brandon, he had this client. It was a retainer client. He was a really big forex trader, and
What is forex? You said.
Forex is similar to the stock market, except you could come in with like lower quantities of number. You don't have to push out like
Gotcha.
a gang of money. But Forex, a lot of people viewed it as a scam, I think 3 or 4 years ago, because it was kind of like a recruiting thing. But basically, it's trading different currencies versus each other and knowing when one's going to go up, go down. You're
Gotcha.
betting with inference.
Yeah.
But he's just a really high level forex trader, very well known in his field. and he had him as a client. We worked in downtown LA, like across from the Staples Center, for like months and months and months, till that guy decided he wanted to move to Puerto Rico for the tax benefits. It's like 4% tax, which makes sense in capital gains.
Yeah.
So he went ahead, he moved over there, and I was one of the people that he selected to fly out to Puerto Rico
Oh,
and
shoot.
shoot for him. And that for me was a very eye-opening experience, bro, because I got to look into someone's lifestyle who did all the work we're doing now, bro, reading, late nights, really grinding it out,
Yeah.
and to see where he's at in Puerto Rico and his lifestyle that he lives, it made everything that I read before feel very attainable, even now, because I know that if I do X, Y, and Z, study like a crazy work ethic, that's a possibility. So what it did was it opened up my mind even further. And that was probably the best thing that could happen to me, and also the worst, because now nobody can tell me otherwise. No one could tell me otherwise,
Like, I seen
bro.
it with my own two eyes. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say names, but I don't have friends anymore, to be honest. So that's out of the equation. But there's certain people that like used to challenge my beliefs. Like, shouldn't you get a job? Shouldn't you do this? Shouldn't you do that? I'm like, no. I know this is right because, number one, I've seen that, and I've also had killer months in my business where I'm like, yeah, you can't tell me anything, respectfully.
Yeah. Dang. I wish we had more time to kind of dive
Yeah,
into
you're
that.
good, bro. You're
'Cause,
good.
bro, like I feel that line you said about like not really having friends now.
Oh, bro, I got no friends.
You know, like I guess what I'm learning to
few.
do, yeah, a few, select few, and at least personally, I feel like I have friends for specific areas of my life too.
Good. That's
You
good.
know, um, when it comes to business, there's very, 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 very few. When it comes to other aspects, I know I can go to such person for just advice for in life overall or in general. But yeah, I felt that line, bro, of having not so many friends, but that's also okay because you then really know who you can actually count on.
Yep.
And that's the biggest thing, I think.
Huge.
But yeah. So, second to last question.
Okay.
It's a music question, so it sounds like you might like the question. If you had to choose your current life soundtrack, what song would that be?
I already know it, bro. It just came off the top like that. There's a song called "Ain't Going Back" by Russ.
Okay.
And he goes, "I ain't going back. Split 5 McDoubles." Like, it's just a dope song. Who's in my league? Not you. Who makes my beats? It's crazy, bro. It's a good song. But basically, the overall premise of the song is like, I'm never going back to how I used to live, and nobody could tell me otherwise.
I love that. I'm gonna look it up.
It's
I
a
have
good
to
song.
now.
We will have to play it.
Sounds good, man. Okay, well, just to wrap this up. Firstly, I just want to thank you for coming on.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, and I know this won't be the last conversation we have.
100%.
I feel like we definitely clicked, and we were talking quite a bit before we even started rolling, bro. Like low key, I wish we would have recorded all that stuff, but I'm glad we got through this episode. And last thing really is, where can people continue to follow your journey?
Yeah, my main platform is Instagram, so you could find me at Goat Arreola, GOATARREOLA. Keep it in the family.
There you go.
But yeah, check me out.
Yeah.
You'll see a lot of me moving around, moving and grooving, and just getting things done.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again, man. Everyone else who tuned in, thank you so much for sitting down with us, whether you're on the road or watching maybe during lunch break. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know your life, but thank you for sitting down with us for a little while. If you found any value at all during this episode, please consider subscribing or following the show. It helps us get more amazing guests like this on the podcast. And yeah, that's all there is to say.
They don't got to think about it. Just do it. Hit the follow right now.
There you go. Appreciate y'all. See you on the next one. Take care.
Media Productions. Hope you've enjoyed the program.